Have you ever wondered if the Central Intelligence Agency, more commonly known as the CIA, has ever involved itself with shamans? An intriguing question, isn't it? Let's delve deeper into this mystery, shall we? Our story begins in the mid-20th century, amidst the Cold War. A time when the CIA was on high alert, constantly seeking new ways to outwit its adversaries. During this period, the agency stumbled upon a fascinating prospect. The world of shamanism. Shamanism, an ancient practice that revolves around the connection between nature and the spirit world, was prevalent among indigenous communities of America. The CIA, always on the lookout for unconventional methods to gain an edge, saw potential in these practices. In the early 1950s, the CIA began a covert operation to study and potentially harness the spiritual knowledge of these shamans. The operation was kept under wraps, with only a handful of people privy to its existence. The agency believed that if they could understand and control these spiritual practices, they could potentially use them as psychological warfare tools. To achieve this, the CIA started infiltrating these communities, posing as enthusiasts and researchers interested in their culture and spiritual practices. Slowly but surely, they began to gain the trust of these communities. They studied their rituals, their beliefs, and their practices. They took notes, recorded sessions, and gathered as much information as they could. However, as time passed, the CIA began to realize that harnessing the power of shamanism was not as straightforward as they had initially thought. The shamans, guardians of their community's spiritual knowledge, were not easily swayed or manipulated. They held firm to their beliefs and traditions, resisting the covert attempts of the CIA to control their practices. Frustrated, the CIA changed its tactics. Instead of trying to control the shamans, they began a campaign to discredit them. They spread misinformation about shamanic practices, painting them as dangerous and demonic. They used the media to propagate fear and suspicion towards shamans, turning public opinion against them. By the late 1970s, the campaign had largely succeeded. Shamans were viewed with suspicion and fear, their practices shunned by mainstream society. The CIA had managed to turn the public against the shamans, effectively neutralizing them as potential threats. But the story doesn't end there. Despite the CIA's efforts, shamanism has seen a resurgence in recent years. More and more people are seeking out shamanic practices, drawn to their connection with nature and the spiritual world. The legacy of the CIA's campaign against shamans continues to linger, but it seems that the spirit of shamanism refuses to be quelled. To summarize, the CIA's involvement with shamans began in the 1950s as a covert operation to harness their spiritual knowledge. When they failed to control the shamans, they launched a campaign to discredit them, turning public opinion against them. Despite this, shamanism has seen a resurgence in recent years, proving the resilience of these ancient practices. In the end, one thing is clear: the world of shamanism is far more complex and resilient than the CIA ever anticipated. It's a testament to the power of ancient wisdom and the indomitable spirit of humanity. Voiceover. So how do we address the problem caused by the CIA's campaign against shamans? First, it's crucial to acknowledge the historical wrongs done to shamans and their communities. This isn't just about admitting mistakes, but about understanding the profound impact these actions had on the shamanic culture and seeking ways to make amends. Secondly, we need to educate the public about the true nature of shamanism. Dispelling misconceptions and prejudices is a critical step in promoting understanding and acceptance of these ancient practices. Lastly, supporting shamans and their communities in their efforts to preserve and share their knowledge is essential. This could be through funding, policy changes, or simply providing platforms for their voices to be heard. By acknowledging the past, educating ourselves, and supporting these communities, we can help to right the wrongs of the past and ensure the survival of shamanism. The resilience of shamanism is a testament to the power of ancient wisdom and the indomitable spirit of humanity.